What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, and we're going to be looking at it on the 4-hour time frame first. Then we're going to be stepping out to the one-day chart, so we really can dig in and get some detail. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at $10,338. And what I wanted to point out here that's been interesting to me is all the wicks. We've talked about this for a while now, since we've been down in this cluster. All the wicks taking place at this support level, also around the psychological level of $10,000 on top of this symmetrical triangle. The thing that's concerning me right now, and I'd say this is the biggest thing that concerned me, at this level we've held as defense. We're keeping that as support, but the problem is we're not having huge swells of volume coming in. We would want to see these big sticks of volume defending this area, in my opinion. We're going to have to wait to see what today brings at the close as well, but this is a spot for us to get back over top of that $10,500. That's a big task. Remember, we were holding that for support. We actually wicked down and had a flash crash onto that area. We found support off that area, and we continued to keep moving to the upside until we've had this recent dump. And what you're seeing up here, this is a red cross. I'll zoom in for you. So on the 4-hour time frame, on September 3rd, we did have this red cross that took place. And what that's showing is the 30 is crossing down underneath the 60 moving average, and that's acting as overhead resistance. So right now we're fighting on the 4-hour time frame here to stay up above this 30, which we have reclaimed, at least as of now, and then that 60, and then we'd be looking at our 100 moving average, then that 200. So you can see now it's kind of like a wave. When that crest comes over top of you there, you're having that wave to the downside now, and now we have to try to get back up through these moving averages, which can all act as overhead resistance. So this is a spot where, and why I say we need volume, because we need that heavy volume to push us through these overhead resistance areas, and the only way you can get through those are a lot of buying pressure. Otherwise, the bears just jump in and they just keep shorting you to the downside. So you can see our impulse wave on heavy volume has been to the downside, and now we've been moving sideways. We had some support of these wicks here, but we haven't had that next big swell to start getting us back up into this area. Okay, so that's pretty critical, and the volume's been lower here, so our reaction's been on lower volume than what our dump was. Okay, so now we're going to have to kind of start seeing if we're going to be able to continue to hold this support at $10,000. It's going to be extremely important for us. And guys, on the 4-hour time frame, we pointed out this head and shoulders pattern as well about a week or two ago, and when it broke the neckline, that's when we really had a strong drop to the downside. I was hoping to hold 10,500 so we wouldn't have to mess with it again, because most likely, you know, it's going to act as strong overhead resistance, which you can see we've had a couple wicks up through it, just really trying to test that area out right now. If we go out to the one-day chart for Bitcoin, bounce out here, I want to point something else out. So we have been in this uptrend now for around 170 days or so. So what I want to do is take our date range, and we'll go from the day that dump took place out to where we're at now. And we are looking roughly at about 183 days. So we have had this uptrend for 183 days now. What we're trying to figure out, is this going to be a higher low on top of this symmetrical triangle, and then we're going to go up and make a higher high, or are we going to have to break down through this and start back testing this 200 moving average, which I'd look at for support at $9,098, and that would also fill that CME future gap at 9,600, which we've talked about before as well. Gaps, most of the time they fill, but they do not have to fill. It's not a 100% requirement that they have to fill. Some charts, you can have gaps and they never look back and they just keep moving, but it happens a lot of time as well. So I know people are keeping their eye on that, and if we did have a sharp drop here, say this was our impulse wave down, we move sideways, almost like a little bear flag there, and then we have another drop down into that 200 moving average. I'm also planning for that as well. But in terms of overhead resistance to keep this move going, we got to get over $10,500. That's going to be the spot. On the one-day time frame here, I want to go over a couple indicators. The first one is the awesome oscillator, and what you can see is the histogram is turning green now, starting to move back to the upside after falling hard here. So we're going to keep an eye on the awesome oscillator. I like to use that. Next one we're going to go into is our stock RSI. The stock RSI is at 24 and 20 right now. We have had an upside cross, but yet again, we need that volume swell to keep this moving to the upside. But it's nice to see on the one-day time frame that our stock's not pinned out at 100 and 100, and we're not at an RSI of, like we got to last time on this major pump, almost up into the 90s. We have room to run now. If this is going to be the bottom, and we can find it, this is such a sticky spot right now, guys. If we can find this bottom here, we have room to run because our RSI is not overbought, our stock's not. None of those indicators are in those overbought territories right now. Okay, so if we get into our relative strength, we're sitting right now at 40. And the last time when we had our high, we got up to 88. So we'd have plenty of room to continue to move to the upside if we can just get through some of these resistance and find some support on volume. Watch that volume today. I'm going to stress it again over and over and over. Watch the volume. Next, we're going to take a look at our momentum. Momentum has been just to the downside here. Lower highs, lower lows. We're at a negative 1611.61 right now for that. So we want to see our momentum starting to pick back up, and that would also take place with the volume. And then we will do our MACD. And MACD is close to crossing. We're getting close. We're not there yet. Okay, so you can see the histogram started to move up into the positive here. We have not had a positive cross since our last one, and that was July 20th. 2020 here. And then we had our downside cross on August 11th, and then we've just been pushed to the downside since then, waiting to see if we can start getting that cross to the upside. We have not had that confirmation yet. We're just starting to look, patiently waiting and seeing what's going to happen. Now next, if we do get into all the technicals here for TradingView, and also if you get something from this video, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you all being here with me on this channel. So the technicals right now are at 12 sell, 10 neutral, 6 buy, oscillators, 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy, moving average 11 sell, 1 neutral, and a 5 buy. So that's going to be Bitcoin, guys. You get some from that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and be patient. Take care.